Ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1.
This is The Jungle, an up-close, unvarnished look inside leadership and business strategy. We wade into the real-world leaders' face and explore what they do to create a path forward, because that's what business is. Wild, exciting.
It's the jungle.
Derek, welcome back to The Jungle.
It's good to be back in the jungle, Doug. It's good to live in the jungle.
I think we've been living there full tilt the last week, have we not?
Last year, Doug.
It's been the last year. You know, I was my wife just came and asked me my favorite question of the day, which is, what are we having for dinner? and I got to tell you, I'm sick of making food. So where are you ordering food these days locally?
So my wife had probably been doing more takeout than you. We don't make a lot of food, so I'm trying to support all the local small restaurants here. Bold's a good one. Main Street Pub, Fieldstone Grills in my backyard here. So we're getting that tonight. Actually, trying to be safe with the takeout, you know. But those are my spots right now.
Do you go in with gloves or no gloves when you get the food?
No gloves.
No gloves.
No gloves. But hand sanitizer in the car. Hand sanitizer in the car.
Okay. Mask?
No mask yet.
Okay.
My wife got her first mask today. She had a mask. She actually went to talk about food. My wife went and packed food for kids in need this morning. So that was cool.
It's amazing. Yeah. We haven't done much food. We got some Kazupi's pizza, one of my favorites.
Yum.
And we got we're gonna do some Shawarma King coming up here, which I know we'll be really enjoying. And then we decided after our Instacart order this week that we were just like gonna forget making any dinners this week and just go all orders. So the next podcast I'll have to share what we got the food from. We'll do that.
Yes.
So let's dive into this conversation that we had with Gordie Kosch. And it was amazing Bronco, amazing leader, and a guy who's really leading through a difficult time in a difficult industry. So Gordie Kosch is the president, CEO, and owner of Kosch Dining Solutions, great family-owned business, actually located here in Rochester. Been in business now for 35 years, really touching all aspects of the food industry, from restaurants, catering, culinary management, you name it, they do it. He leads an organization of 500 people, so a big shop. And, that industry, when you think about event, meals, hospitality, that whole space is just right in the middle of the bullseye on where this pandemic is striking. So it was a real conversation we had with Gordie about how he is leading through a really difficult time, difficult conversation in some respects. So what were your takeaways from that conversation?
Yeah, it was a great conversation, Doug. It was a humbling conversation. It was one of the tougher ones we've had. So I'll go with 3 Ps, kind of use your model. So the first one is people. Network is critical. Networks are always critical. And at this time, you want to lean on people that you trust and that you've had as trusted advisors for a while. He gave a couple of network tips in there, like YPO. Great one. Perspective is important. Keeping the perspective is the second P. Understanding what was truly important. And then finally, portfolio and is my third P, and prioritization. He shifted his portfolio around a little bit and prioritized some other services that he could execute right now. And maybe build up quickly. So those are my 3 big takeaways there. What'd you have, Doug?
So those were some of the ones that I had. I also had 2 other ones I'd add. One was at the end of the day, it's about dollars and cents. You know, and you think about the liquidity challenges and you think about trying to deal with cash flow during this situation, that you want to do good, you want to be able to help out and reach out. But if you have no business, you have no jobs. And so the dollars and cents have to add up, and you have to make some difficult decisions as a result of that. And that was my point number 2, which is, he's been through a lot of ups and downs. He's been through the Great Recession. He's been through 9/11, never had to deal with any layoffs, and had the really difficult position to furlough a large number of his employees. And hearing what that experience has to be like when you've never done it before and you've got to do it to keep the company going is this situation lots of people are facing. And it was great to see how he is working through that and sharing his thoughts and feelings around that. So Great conversation, great Bronco. And we hope everybody enjoys this conversation with Gordie Kosch. Gordie, welcome to the podcast. You have a beverage there with you?
Rock and roll, brothers. Let's do it.
Cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers to everyone.
Are you enjoying some sunshine on your side of the state today?
I'm looking out the window. It's snowing now. It was sunny about an hour ago, and it was snowing earlier, and we're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches tomorrow morning, which for April 17th is not desirable, but it is what it is.
It's pure Michigan, isn't that right?
Sure.
Yeah, yesterday we had a little bit of, we had some snow, some real heavy snow, some sunshine, some cloudy skies. We got about everything yesterday. So it's a great time to be in Michigan, quarantined. So you get to see you get to actually see it all from your window. So really appreciate you taking time to sit down and chat with us. You're an amazing Bronco, an amazing alumni, and I think there's a lot that people can learn from you, and particularly your industry and how the crisis is really affecting that. So we look forward to kind of diving in, but let's step back and, first question I have is, what are you doing about your hair and the haircuts? Is the wife giving you the haircuts, or, cause I was almost rocking a hat today. Cause I need my wife to do something for me here. What are you doing?
And Gordie, where are you coming to? Is that your home office? Are you up north, or are you on the east side? Where are you right now too?
I'm in Rochester, Michigan. I bought this house 25 years ago. It was the first brick Victorian home built in Rochester in 1859. And 25 years ago, I completely redid it. And actually, we're about 90% done with completely redoing it again. So it's a cool place to come to work every day. I'm here by myself. My wife is here doing a few things, but it's a cool house.
And what about haircuts? Where mine's getting.
I don't have enough hair. If you two could give me some of your hair, then I would have more hair and have to worry about a haircut.
Okay. Are you gonna go to the wife? Would that be your next step for the haircut?
All right, just let it go and see what happens.
It might be the in thing. That's what that's his hypothesis. It's the long hair look is going to make a comeback.
Long hair and hats.
Well, and the color of your hair.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, my wife, she ended up doing my son's hair and actually did a pretty good job for her first haircut. So I'm probably going to be next in the near future.
Well, that was the start of my entrepreneurialism. When I was 10, my buddies back then, a haircut was $4, and his parents would give him $4. They would come to me, I would cut their hair, they would give me $2, and they would keep $2. So that was the start of my entrepreneurialism at the age of 10.
So that's where you caught the bug.
A lot of mutual benefit there. A lot of mutual benefit for everyone involved.
Yeah, it did. It worked for years.
Excellent. Well, so why don't you let's talk a little bit and get real with kind of where are you at right now with this whole deal? We were about a month. Derek and I were just chatting a little bit before this, and we were discussing some other stuff that had gone on, and it was like a month ago, and all of a sudden the world feels like it was just flipped upside down. That was the week of when the NBA canceled the season and NCAA canceled, and so you're in the food space, food catering, food service. Where are you at right now?
Well, as you know, throughout the country, throughout the state of Michigan, we're 100% shut down. Event management is our primary portfolio, and that is completely shut down. We started to see the fall of that in late January. There was skepticism and worry, and it was building through February. So really this started for us the third week in January, and then completely shut down, whatever that date was, March 18th. I believe was when the governor did this, March 18th, something like that. And so we had a new company in development called Parker Grant Hospitality, which we have launched, and that is prepared meals. And we donated 50 prepared meals to Beaumont Hospital in Troy on Monday to their frontline workers. And that is just going live now. You can see it on Facebook, Parker Grant Hospitality on Facebook. And they've already got approximately 1,000 orders for Monday, as the pay online just went live today or yesterday.
Was that like planned before this, or is that just all you looking at the adversity and seeing how can I help? How can I contribute to this? You know, some of the issues people are facing, and being reactive in your strategic decision making, or is it kind of both?
Yes, it's both. We started this 4 or 5 months ago, really to rebrand, modernize, make hipper, younger the marketing and strategies from what was Kosch Hospitality to Parker Grant, where my son Grant and David Parker, who's worked for us a long time, I'm an owner of the company, but they are owners as well. And we really saw a more youthful vision of hospitality going forward. We have a few contracts, but then as this blew up a month ago, we had the idea of prepared meals as part of it. We just prioritized it, and now that is the number one focus, other than this new facility we're building called Kudos Tap Room and Field House in Taylor, Michigan, for a outsourced client, which is going to be like a family event center and have an indoor dog park, children's play area, axe throwing, foaling, or football bowling, arcade, bar, tap room, restaurant. It's a big place. It's 60,000 square feet. So those are the two primary only operating businesses we now have.
So we need one of those in Kalamazoo.
Yes, well, we got the idea from the new dog park in Comstock. It's the only one in the state of Michigan. And we saw that as a good addition. I don't know if you know it, but the rate at which Americans are embracing pets is skyrocketing for a multiple of reasons before the pandemic. But I think with the pandemic, it's not going to change. So dogs, cats, whatever, they're much more popular today than they were 5 or 20 years ago.
So can you take us into some of that decision-making process you're going through? I mean, you probably more than any of our other guests, core business solutions have been hit hard. With mandatory shutdown, how are you as a leader approaching this? What are some of the things you're going through that you can maybe provide insight to other leaders that want to listen to this and take from your 35, 40 years of experience in the industry, just on how you're trying to survive, go through solvency, all those kinds of things of your core business units?
Yeah, thank you, Derek. You know, this is my 40th year in business. And as I said in the WMU recruitment video, kind of came from nothing. And I was just always entrepreneurial and motivated to not be poor. And so to me, other than the priority of marriage and family, business has always been number 3. And what is the priority of business at the beginning and at the end of every day? It's about the money. Okay, certainly you have to be of good ethical and moral responsibility to your employees, to your guests, to your community. But at the beginning and at the end of the day, dollars and cents got to make sense. Otherwise, you got bigger problems. And as this has hit the fan, absolutely, that's my focus. And so immediately I was researching and doing homework on all of the governmental options out there. And it changed by the hour, by the day. Everybody today, I think, knows what PPP is. Nobody heard of PPP a month ago. Payroll Protection Plan. Mm-hmm. Okay, as of yesterday, if you believe the emails from the government, 6 of our 7 entities have approximately, I'm not even sure, $200,000 coming in. You had to do was, it was 2 months average of 2019, 75% payroll, 25% other being debt, interest only, rent, payroll costs beyond direct payroll costs. And a few other administrative things. So I was on that immediately. That's under the SBA, federal government. Part of the $2 trillion, that segment of it has $250 billion. As of yesterday, $150 billion of it was given away. Then I went local also. Oakland County went online 2 weeks ago with a small business grant application and a small business loan application. I did both. Both were accepted. I haven't heard a word back from either. If people don't know it, certain government departments, bank people, they're working their asses off, man. There is so much volume of process and decision-making that they're having to figure out like this. So I haven't seen a dime yet, but they say it's all coming.
So when you think about all the costs and managing your cost, particularly from a hospitality event planning perspective in the next 30 to 60 days, even assuming that this money comes in, how are you thinking about managing those costs to get you through the next, 3 months of this?
Well, I furloughed all employees 3 weeks ago. I'm not positive of the date. Never done this in my life. Survived 9/11, 09, and barely laid off anybody ever. But this is a new world, man. And so that's a big part of it. I even applied for unemployment. I've never gotten a dime of government money ever in my life. I've never asked for it. But I applied for unemployment and they say I'm going to get it. Haven't seen a dime, but whatever. And so, just looking through income statements and going, hey, wait a minute, there's auto deducts going on. When I have 8 entities and a lot of banking accounts, what are auto deducts like trash removal? Well, damn, don't need trash removal. Okay. Insurance. I don't need insurance. Liquor liability insurance. There's no liquor being served. Put it in escrow. Autos. Put them just that in case somebody steals them or they catch on fire, they're not being driven. I've got 12 trucks. Things like that.
So the furloughing element of this, particularly not having done this before and having weathered those crises, can you walk us into the thought process there, the emotions, what that was like for you?
Very hard, man. Very hard. But people get it. This isn't something that I created. Everybody's brother, sister, cousin, somebody's getting laid off or their pay is getting reduced. They're being furloughed. The challenge in our industry, primarily relative to this PPP and unemployment, is that with the stimulus bonus $600, and I'm not an expert on this, but in reading through industry concerns, watching podcasts like this, I'm in an organization called YPO, Young Presidents Organization. I'm on the older side, YPO Gold. We say the G is silent.
Yeah.
And so it's global. And there is a ton of information, particularly in the hospitality network, to help assist with this. But how this is going to play out, nobody knows, man. Even these new programs. As recently as an hour ago, people are going online saying that the PPP says they deposited into their account, and people are looking at their accounts and they're going, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And so the banking, and I think there's a lot of scrambling going on. This is difficult.
Would you say do you have any recommendations, or how like in a very tactical way do you go about furloughing? And what lessons do you, because there are other people who are thinking about this, who have done it, who might need to still do it. How did you approach that?
Well, something I've always been good at, or people have complimented me about, is don't underreact. Don't overreact. And so with that timing, I don't think I underreacted and I didn't overreact. I didn't knee jerk on May 17th or March 18th, when the industry got shut down. I played it out, but I only waited like a week because I said, wait a minute, this cannot work, because I want those people back. And I can't lose too much money until this somewhat recovers. Now, again, we're keeping this podcast to 30 minutes. And the dialogue of where's this going, you need about 300 hours for that. And it's going to change next hour. Just in Oakland County, 2 hours ago, it was online that the coroner's facility is over capacity, and they're turning, I'm a hockey player, they're turning an ice rink into a morgue. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So these are realities of what we're dealing with. A good buddy of mine, hold my emotions here, his mother-in-law died yesterday, his sister-in-law died Sunday in Metro Detroit of the virus. I mean, it's 130 people a day in Michigan. Michigan, as a ratio, is the worst in the world right now, where we're the third largest, we have the third highest mortality rate in the country, and yet we're like the 17th largest state. Our ratio is the worst. It's real, man.
So some people are looking at previous type of recessions and saying this compares to that, this compares to that. You sound like you fought hard through 2008 and survived, but this seems totally different. So can you talk a little bit about the major differences? And also, it sounds like you're going hour to hour right now on many things. And are you scenario planning? If it opens in a month, if it opens in 3 months, if it opens in 6 months. Some are talking about your industry, having to put in practices of tables further apart, people further apart, scanning them as they come in. How are you kind of strategically thinking through some of that? And or is it focusing on new opportunities like the one with your son and his partner?
It's all of that, and trying not to be a crazy nutbag at the same time, because the anxiety and the volume of this, I think people too have to step away from it sometimes. You just got to go for a walk. You got to stop watching TV. You got to stop watching minute by minute updates of this. It'll drive you crazy. But you need to stay informed at the same time. Back to the origin of your question, Derek. The world has never shut down before. The recession is very different. From my business career, 82 was recession, 87 was recession, 91 was a little recession, 01 was a little recession. And then, 08 to 12 in Michigan was a 3 to 4 year recession, really. But this is nothing like that, man, to where everything shut down. Not everything, but damn near, right? Essential, non-essential. When does this come out? There's already talk of when it comes out that you're only going to be allowed 50% capacity, only so many customers per square foot. And when you look particularly at our weddings, where for the last 10 years, we've averaged between 400 and 500 weddings a year. Okay, the cancellations on them are damn near 100%. They're canceling all the way up until August, wanting to reschedule for a year from now, or not at all. Or it was 200 people, but now we think we want 70 people. And, how freaked out are people going to be about this social distancing behavior? My son asked me, Grant, my Bronco son, our oldest son, said, Dad, what are you most anxious about when this is over? I said, I want to shake hands and I want to hug people. That's what I'm anxious for. So hopefully we get into that.
Good message.
When you think about, we do want to be careful of your time here. Let's have some closing questions here around leadership. What are you looking for, finding as a source of inspiration for the situation that you're in? do you have a rock, or do you have something you go to of how you manage? You talked about the anxiety of getting through this. What do you look to?
Perspective. Try to have objectivity in your thinking, to not go too far right, not go too far left, and take each day and appreciate it, and with your family, and try to be healthy and be optimistic, but be realistic. And fortunately, it's spring, and we're days away from warmer weather, which helps, and sunshine and things like that. And hopefully May 1st holds in the state of Michigan for some let up. But, if you saw the governor's speech yesterday, from the analysis of the Spanish influenza of 1918, okay, and the second phase of what happened then, where I would not have thought 102 years ago social distancing would have been a community understanding, but it was. And those communities that did not embrace it, in phase 2 of that pandemic, many, many more people died. So anyway, I think we have to be prepared that there's a phase 2 to this pandemic, as China is experiencing now, where they, were past the apex and things were seeming good. And it started hitting them again about 4 days ago.
One last question. I got to say, all the stuff that you're going through as a leader that you've never faced before, and taking the time to come on here, Gordie, we can't appreciate you enough as being an amazing Bronco. It's something that's stellar. For you to take a pause and say, how can we deliver prepared meals to frontline workers and all of this with your son? Again, that's outstanding. Are you want to give it a shout? Is anybody else? Are you seeing any other great leadership behaviors like that you want to talk about and say how they're impacting people around you? Because that's truly amazing that you're able to go through this and then say, let's get some meals to frontline workers, and launch a new program in the middle of this. That's some outstanding leadership. So do you have any other examples of that either you or people you're seeing around you that are truly what leadership really means?
I know we're at 29 minutes. Do you guys hold strong to the 30 minutes? Because I can spend a little bit more time, but if your formatting is 30 minutes.
Nope.
Okay, I'm good for another 5 or 10 if you want.
Sure.
I think we're being kind of productive here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I have a customer waiting at the at the POS system with a credit card.
Wish you did.
10 years ago, through and with Tom Egan at Western Michigan University, started a WMU CEO group in terms of, what other advice might I give? It would be networking with peers for communicating, problem solving. I really started that group 10 years ago as a spin-off from the YPO forum format, where it's like a personal board of directors, and you have oaths of confidentiality, and you meet regularly. And now we're Zoom meeting and talking about, how are they adapting? And some of them run multi-billion-dollar companies. I'm on the smaller side of the economic scalability of the companies involved with that group I started. But I would definitely ask people to reach out to others in their industry that they could be a peer with and brainstorm together. But yes, the prepared meals thing is our primary focus. And I think that is probably going to be a much enlarged market segment. Prepared meals has been around for a while, but it's a very small percentage of the food and beverage industry. But I believe with this virus and this experience and the safety going forward, people are going to embrace that. You know, you order online, you pay online, it's delivered, it's dropped at your door, done. And I think a lot of people are sick of cooking and they're bored at home. And to get, you know, from real culinary, nutritionally engineered meals, I think people are going to dig that. And we're excited about doing that. Again, that's Parker Grant Hospitality, Facebook. I'm not the marketing guy. I'm not the social media guy.
How about I ask you one more question here, Gordie, and then we'll go to some rapid fire questions. And that is one of the goals of the podcast is to inform, but also try to showcase the reality of what it's like to lead. And I don't know about you, but my inbox has been filled with this email about what you should do in a crisis, and this email about leadership, and this email about going online, and this, you know, there's frameworks and practices and readings and just so much stuff coming your way. What are you thinking network first as your source of like real information to kind of help guide your decision making through this? Because everyone's getting bombarded with so much stuff. How do you deal with, do you look at that? Do you not look at that? How do you think about that?
Well, I think you have to trust your own best judgment first, because a lot of that information that's out there is or isn't accurate. And talk with those that you trust and know best for this, starting with my wife. My sons, you know, they're all college graduates. I always make the funny joke that the middle one and the younger one couldn't get into Western, so they had to go to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And they both got MBAs and they do very well. They're smart. I bounce things off of them and their wives that are also smart and doctors and things like that. So, you know, consult and console with those smartest, closest to you, and that you can trust and be open with.
Right. That's wonderful. Have you seen Inside the Actor Studio?
I don't think so.
So it's on some artsy channel. Some people have seen this. This is what back in the day, they had these great questions, very short, rapid fire questions, one or two word answers. Yeah. So we have something in the same spirit that we'll ask you here. Okay. So are you ready?
It's a fun way to end. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Favorite leader?
Ronald Reagan.
Courage or compassion?
Compassion.
Speed or accuracy?
Accuracy.
Liking or respect?
Respect.
Great ideas or great execution?
Great execution.
A word to describe your leadership style?
Honest.
And if you had a spirit animal that captured and illustrated your leadership, what would be your spirit animal, Gordie?
Okay, you went with a really good one there, Doug. I don't even know what a spirit animal is. I don't know, man. What's a spirit animal?
It could be any animal that you just think embodies the leadership that is Gordie. What would you pick?
A cheetah.
Boom.
Boom. Good.
That's fast.
No, that sounds like cheater, not cheater, cheetah.
Cheetah.
Got it. My kid's favorite animal, just an FYI. They love cheetahs. I don't know where it came from, but awesome.
Our podcast is called The Jungle because it's really, we're trying to take people into the real world. And so Derek does a great lion roar that sounds like a cheetah. He actually did it right before the podcast. So that's a great way to end. So want to thank you, Gordie, for joining us today. A great Bronco, a terrific leader. Hang in there. If you want more about what some of the great stuff they're doing, they can go to Parker Grant on Facebook.
Parker Grant Hospitality on Facebook. And Derek and Doug, thank you guys very much. We, the WMU CEO group, is very proud of you guys, man. You are making a change, a difference in the business program there. You're rock stars.
Appreciate that. Having fun doing it too. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll
you guys too.
We'll say bye-bye for now.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Gordie.
Thank you, guys.